Hey everyone! We are
Elena and Candela. And today we are going to talk about
the women's suffrage movement. The Declaration of Sentiments and Resolutions is the document resulting from the meeting held on the July 19th and 20th, 1848, signed by 68 women and 32 men to study the conditions and social, civil, and religious rights of women.
example, the equality of having the same jobs and the right to vote, which started in the second half of the 19th century. Suffragettes were the women who joined this movement.
Sometimes suffragettes arranged marches and demonstrations, which led to a struggle with the police. However, there were anti-suffragettes which opposed this movement because they thought that women should not have the same rights as men. They supposed that the only objective of women in life was to be a wife and a mother, looking after their families.
If we want to talk about an important suffragette in Britain, Emmeline Parscott is a good example. She was born in Manchester in 1878 and she died in 1928. She had a daughter named Christabel, with whom she created the Women's Social and Political Union in the year 1903. Their aim was to gain the right to vote. Emmeline went to prison several times, because the group's methods were sometimes aggressive. They also destructed some properties and arsons.
During the First World War, many women were recruited into jobs vacated by men who had gone to fight in the war. New jobs were also created as part of the war effort, for example, in munition factories. The high demand for weapons resulted in ammunition factories becoming the largest single employer of women during 1918. However, they received lower wages for doing the same work, and thus began some of the earliest demands for equal pay. But even before the end of the war, many women refused to accept lower pay for what in most cases was the same work as had been done previously by men. Equal pay for equal work. They also worked as railway guards and ticket collectors, buses and train conductors, postal workers, police, firefighters. In this time, women wore short dresses to work in comfort, and they started to wear trousers. They also cut their hair because they could get caught in factory machines. This also favored the practice of sports, which were only reserved for men, such as tennis, swimming, cycling.
The role of the woman in the war was found in the rear ward, where there were numerous of them doing the function of doctors for the wounded. In total, 1,345,000 women obtained new work or replacement during the war. Even though women were victims of the First World War, they quietly guaranteed the survival of his family and even of his community. This war mobilized some 65 million soldiers looking for women to maintain production. Mainly, the daily work that nurses carried out during the conflict was to apply the basic cares to the wounded that arrived at the hospitals. They also provided food, followed the guidelines of surgeons, and created a space as comfortable as possible for patients.
Due to the role that women took in the First World War, women began to appear in the street posters. There were some posters that were used as a method of recruiting nurses for the Red Cross. This organization, in addition to helping the soldiers in medical aspects, also provided information to soldiers and family members, helping them to reunite.
This poster of the Red Cross is from 1918. In the central part, we find the figure of a woman, a nurse, who holds a wounded man in her arms. It's a clear reference to La Piedad, the moment in which the Virgin Mary holds in her arms her son Jesus Christ, recently taken down from the cross. If we move it to the First World War, the Red Cross will exercise the role of protective mother of its many children, the soldiers of the front.
And that's all! Thank you very much for listening to us. We hope that you have learned, but above all, that you have liked it. Bye!
Bye!